Mahatma Gandhi, advocate of peace, religious freedom, and nuclear holocaust, at least according to Singularity civilization, before extracting him renowned for his depth and detail spanning across centuries of simulated gaming. The series prides itself on its various win conditions, strategies, and historical accuracy. Well, to a degree. So with the Civilization franchise so intense on creating its very various historical possibilities for its gameplay, why is it that the AI of historical figures most people consider to be the apotheosis of peace and love decides to go on an outright race for the game progressive life? Sid Meier's Civilization saw release in late 1991 for MS-DOS, but later received revisions on PlayStation, Super Nintendo, Atari ST, and several other platforms. Many touted it as the pioneer in turn-based strategy, receiving numerous awards and accolades for its unique gameplay. Although there were a few points of criticism, such as spearmaning was occasionally defeating modern-day tank units, critics were generally annoyed by the amount of depth that the game had for its time. There were a total of 15 civilizations to choose from or play against, including Egyptians, Americans, Germans, Greeks, and of course Indians. To better represent each of these civilizations' character traits accurately and correctly, the game assigns several values to field radiation, build rates, aggression levels, and overall threat to the game. Aggression level for 1 and hostile 10, which made them generally try to be useful for every other game in scientific level. Humans are in some cases 9% more powerful than the play war on others. So how is it that Gandhi becomes a new family by late game? The answer is simple: democracy. How about the mid to late game point? Every nation is achievable in government. One of these ways happens to be democracy, which also happens to increase civilization's regimen by 2. Gandhi always takes this in his government for his reasons. Theoretically, that should make Gandhi even less direct than he already was. Let it negative 1 out of the possible 10 directions. But the role of the program is negative 1 doesn't exist. So when this class's aggression level is under 1 and backwards to 255. Out of the possible 10. This newfound aggression couldn't be founded at the worst times for players who had left Gandhi in the right side. As this was right about the time that Leeds came. Thus, nuclear Gandhi was born, terrorizing players for the slightest transgression that he deemed unfit. Or so the legend goes. While this does seem like every game of Civilization is set up just for the player to get into a non-stop nuke fest with Gandhi in the late game, this actually wasn't the case. This bug, while hilarious and infamous in its own right, only occurred under a specific set of conditions. Firstly, India was only available as an opponent when the player chooses to play against 6 other civilizations. Secondly, because of early game Gandhi's pacifism, he was usually dismantled by stronger and more aggressive civilizations that inhabited the world around him. If and when India was left to its own devices for the whole game, Gandhi only becomes a nuclear threat if he's already at war with the player when democracy is chosen, because you cannot declare war as a democracy unless you are first. Even so, the legend was born, and players continue to exchange excited stories of disbelief about the wonders of Word eventually found its way back to the net. They decided to leave the bug in, and continue sprinkling illusions throughout the series. Tales of Gandhi being a thirsty warmonger, and generally addictions, continue to crop up in the recent Civilization. Eventually, Civilization 5 came out, and with it came the specific values that dictated each nation's tendencies throughout the game. These values were placed on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Upon the start of the new game at 5, the values were randomized just a little bit, anywhere from +2 to -2 of the original starting values. When players looked through the traits for each leader, it was soon discovered that Gandhi had mostly normal values. His likeliness to go to war and general competitiveness started at a 2 out of 10. His friendliness and loyalty value started at a 7. And his build nuke and use nuke values were set to 12 out of 10. This meant that even if the game started with a -2 modifier to Gandhi's build nuke and build use, it was still treated at the maximum possible value. It was a funny homage to the bug that occasionally played the original game who created a fictitious footnote to a historical legend. Funnily enough, these values suited the flavor of the original game, as Gandhi was still generally peaceful for his sway, barring a few random attacks, and only a real threat if the player decided to go on a warmongering rampage in the late game. The bug may have originated in the first game, but it was the developers at Firaxis Games who popularized it most with the inclusion of values onto Gandhi's otherwise peaceful. So, how does everyone's favorite nuclear leader live up to the long-lasting legacy of launching lethal missiles in the latest iteration of Civilization? who you ask, things are worse than ever, or the same as they've always been. In Civilization 6, Gandhi's back and fiending for some big ballistic conflict. In this latest installment of the franchise, all leaders are given two agendas that define the way they go about the game. Every leader gets a primary historical agenda, which they always follow, and a secondary hidden agenda, which is random. For example, Montezuma's historical agenda is that he likes civilizations that have the same luxurious resources which he has. But his hidden agenda could be a range of things, from trying to build up industry as rapidly as possible, making his citizens happy, or having a large standing army. Looking over Gandhi's historical agenda in Civilization 6 tells us that he hates warmongering and that he will never declare war on anyone except for those who he deems to be a warmonger. Pretty standard stuff so far, but what about Gandhi's hidden agenda? Well, this is where his thirsting for radioactive relations stems from in the latest one. In Civilization 6, some nations have certain hidden agendas that are always affixed to their respective leaders. In Gandhi's case, his hidden agenda is Newcastle. I'd give you 3 guesses on what that means, but we all know that everyone's favorite big Indian boy won't hesitate to create Fallout 5 if given the opportunity. In fact, he reveres you, praising the player for building an arsenal and displaying his power. And that's the story of the nuclear Gandhi. What started as a bug and evolved into an Easter egg quickly went down in history as one of the most infamous examples of underflow occurring in an old game and manifesting in a ridiculous way. Love it or hate it, Mahatma Gandhi's radioactive rampage has persisted across many iterations of everyone's favorite 4X strategy franchise, and it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon.
I do not understand sunglasses. What do you mean sunglasses? Talk to him.
Thanks for watching. As with nearly every other video on this channel, I haven't really done anything like this before, so it means a lot. I'd love to cover more bugs from different games in the future, so I'm sure this will become a recurring series. The content on this channel comes out when I have the inspiration and varies greatly, but if you'd like to see me stream, I do so semi-regularly on Twitch. Just don't expect as much